Three, two, one. Hello and welcome to another edition of Full Follow. With me today, I have my good friend Jamie and Super. How are you doing today, Jamie?
I'm doing good, man. How are you? Is
I'm doing swell. So,
that Bucky shirt I see you got on?
yes,
See, I keep hearing about Bucky's, but living in Delaware, they don't exist over here.
yeah, they don't exist in Iowa, but they are from Texas.
From
Um, so what do you expect from the Daytona 500 this week?
the Daytona 500.
Yes.
Um, I I'm expecting it to be a fun race. I'm expecting it to be uh, it's going to be qualifying is going to be interesting, especially with the new Toyotas and the new Fords. Not really knowing what to expect between those vehicles, but I think Toyota is probably going to be the surpriser for at least the Daytona 500 because they now have more cars to add, particularly three new cars to add to their list, which is going to help them with team alignments and drafting and things like that.
So, um, so I want to know how you guys came up with the Lockdown podcast that I am a part of, you're a part of, and it's just a fun time over there, having fun with it. But tell everyone the idea behind it.
Yeah, so the idea is it all stems from the Social Sports Pad network.
One. Hello and welcome back to Full Throttle. I'm your host Justin Putzer, and with me today I have Jamie Interface. So continue, Jamie, on what you were saying about the Lockdown podcast, please.
Yeah, so the Lapdown podcast just came organically with a bunch of friends. Some people stemming from the Social Sports Pad network. That we're all just avid sports fans, and it all started off with a show on there called The Hard Count. You can find that on Spotify, iTunes, uh, anywhere you can hear podcasts and forums. But it all started with that. We just started for about a year talking about football, the NFL, different things, ins and outs of that. And the more we grew, the more there was people internally that uh, actually liked NASCAR and had been following NASCAR and had some good knowledge and feedback about the world of motorsports. And that's how the Lapdown podcast came to be. We finally kept growing as a network, and now we're excited. We're about 6 episodes in to the Lap Down podcast. We record them on Wednesday nights, and then we post them on Thursdays. So every Thursday, through all the same podcast forums, you can find us under the Lap Down podcast through Social Sports Pad.
So, so you're going to be hosting tonight. So talk to
That's
us
correct. Yep.
about talk to us about what we can expect from the Lapdown podcast tonight.
Well, I mean, I don't want to give too many spoilers because then it's going to prevent people from tuning in. But we're going to be discussing the results of the qualifying efforts tonight. So once qualifying is over, that's when we're going to start recording and kind of give our reactions. We got some good people lined up. A good friend of mine, Will Bain from the Acolyte Project. He will be a guest for tonight's show. And as usual, we got some usual rumbling antics from our Canadian resident, Denny Rumble. He always brings the fire. He's always rumbling about something. Uh, but we'll be talking about that and just about the 500, get geared up. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. So talk to us about what you expect out of some drivers. Let's start with Chase Elliott. What do you expect out of Chase Elliott this year?
That's a good question. Chase Elliott, I think he's going to kind of going on like a redemption tour, stemming from his injury last year. I don't think he was performing the way that he was expecting to. I think he had to kind of catch up to the rest of the field and the stuff that they learned in the amount of races that he missed. So, I would say he don't call it a comeback, but I expect some big races from Chase Elliott this year.
And um, so if you were a NASCAR driver, what team would you want to drive for?
Oh man, and we're living in a world where every team has an opening. Is this the world that we're living in?
Yes. Hmm.
Oh man. So you got like obviously there's Hendrick, and the uh prestige that comes with those drivers. You have Penske, a name that is synonymous with motorsports in general, not just NASCAR. Like Penske's involved in IndyCar. Penske is involved with Formula One, as well as NASCAR. Then you got Coach Joe Gibbs, and well, I almost said it, as a Commanders fan, uh, I'm definitely a big fan of Joe Gibbs. And in our NASCAR Heat League, I do drive the number 8 car, so I think it would be cool to kind of go under Joe Gibbs and not Joe Gibbs, but drive the number 8 under Richard Childress. That would be a cool ride.
Yeah, so talk to us about what do you expect out of that fleet driver, Kyle Busch.
So he's getting himself in the timing frame of Dale Earnhardt, right? He's done it all. He's won it all, with the exception of the big one. He has not won the Daytona 500, and he's coming up on his 19th running in the Daytona 500. I think Dale Earnhardt won it in his 20th running, and so we're starting to get to that level where a driver who is always in the mix towards the end, he always either A ends up running up, finishing runners up, or something happens to him mid race. So I think as the years go on, I think he's putting more and more pressure on himself to win the 500, and it'll be interesting to see how he looks. I know he looked pretty well at the Clash, but I mean, again, that's a quarter-mile track. Anything can really happen. But seeing he never really dropped back, and that's something that I think is different about him this year as opposed to last year. He didn't really have a good short track car, so I'm excited to see what Chevrolet in general is able to do for Daytona.
So let me ask you about, let's see here, Kevin Harvick and the effort he put into the booth. What do you expect out of Kevin Harvick in that Fox Sports booth this year? I'm looking forward to it. We're
Oh,
one
I
race
mean,
in, and we're one race in with having a class that could call him. But what do you expect out of Kevin Harvick one race in?
I mean, I think he's going to be a good addition. Once he's used to the way things go, he's still kind of like learning on the fly. One race in, he's still learning the ropes, but he's got some good guys to lean on. He definitely offers some good insight and some veteran knowledge on, especially when it involves the new cars. I think that's something that was missing with the old tandem of the people that were calling the races. They were from the NASCAR's glory days, but none of them had real in car experience with these next gens, and I think that's a different level that Kevin Harvick is able to bring to the team.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Now, what do you think put you on the spot here? We got you about Kyle Busch. what do you think about his Russian works? Where do you see him in 10, 15 years?
Talking about Kyle Busch.
Kyle was his son, Bletson.
Oh man. Um, I mean, he's. I mean, obviously he's got. Uh, he's definitely got his dad's talent. Already winning races at such a young age. Uh, I'm not going to be the one to put out bold predictions on a young kid's life, but if he continues to pursue and has a passion like his dad had the passion, um, I think he's going to be good. Once he gets up to the NASCAR realm, uh, I think he'll probably take a similar trajectory as Ty Gibbs is taking right now. So that's kind of where I would put him is uh, probably looking at the growth level of a Ty Gibbs, someone who what ran up through the short track through the dirt circuit and then got involved into concrete and restrictor plates and things like that.
All right. So, what do you think about this? Uh, what do you think? Who's going to be the best crew chief and driver connection this year?
Crew chief and driver connection. Hmm. That's a tough one.
I
Let
know.
me. Well, while I'm brainstorming on this because obviously you've had time to prepare for this question, so
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts on this while I ponder.
I really think four team will be the best driver crew chief connection because Rodney Killers is a proven crew chief. He's won championships with Kevin Harvick, and I think uh that him and his new driver, uh Josh Berry, will hit the ground running this week in Daytona. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I think that they definitely are going to have some. They still got to build that chemistry, right? So
Mhm.
they still got to learn each other's motives, the way that they like to communicate, things like that. Uh, one one team that I'll probably be looking paying a little extra attention to is kind of like the forgotten man in Trackhouse with Daniel Suarez and Matt Swiderski as his crew chief. I think that's going to be a good two-man tandem. Swiderski is coming from Colleague Racing, and he was able to work with AJ Allmendinger last year, and and I think it's going to be good to work with Daniel Suarez. He helped him out with the Mexico Series race at the Clash, and he got the dub there. So, what better way to break in the communication than at a super short track where there's a lot of things going on? So, that would be the team that I would probably look at. And I think as far as Suarez running, I think he just has to lean on Ross Chastain a little bit and understand how Chastain is driving the track as to his driving style and just figure out a way to blend the two together. And I think that'll be vast improvements uh for Daniel Suarez.
So, um, so a little bit background on my program here, Jamie. Uh, I I enjoy having special guests like you on. I call this like my co-host, special guest co-host segment where I bring on special guests like yourself and get feedback for the season. And furthermore, I would appreciate your friendship and I appreciate you coming on my program. And I can't wait to work with you more on your program as time progresses and we get going.
Yeah,
So,
I appreciate it. The feeling's mutual, my friend.
so with that being said, this has been another edition of Full Follow. hit that like button if you're liking this content. Watch us on Lockdown Podcast. Jamie, you want to close this out with details on when they can catch the Lockdown Podcast in case they missed it earlier?
Yeah, so like I said, you can find the Lap Down podcast anywhere on YouTube. That's where if you want to see our ugly mugs on a screen, you can catch us on YouTube. Otherwise, if you just want to listen to the sound of our voices and just enjoy the craziness that happens, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, and pretty much Twitch, anywhere that you can get podcasts. Just search a Social Sports Pad podcast, and the lap down will be underneath that name.
All right. So with that, this has been Full Follow with your host Justin Putzer and special guest Jamie Anthropis. Goodbye, everyone.